glorious Panzerplatte Arena, home to the infamous Hinkelsteins. Menacing chunks of concrete originally built to stop tanks going off the road. Rally cars don't stand a chance. You have been warned as the 2012 World Rally Championship arrives in Germany. After a run of 6 rounds on gravel, we're about to embark on our first true tarmac test of the year, the ADAC Rally Deutschland. Coming up, hot but not bothered, having escaped this inferno in New Zealand, WRC's only all-female team are back and raring to go again.
Oh, we can't hardly believe that we are here, but we are very, very lucky to be here.
Spotlight on World Rally's elder statesman, Peter Solberg reflects on an eventful career and offers a swift global history lesson.
Solberg, the gladiator.
Talking of history, we roll back the years for a heady blast of nostalgia, fond memories of the way things once were.
It's actually my proper car from Argentina, 85, so it brings some special memory.
But as for the here and now, WRC Germany poses one of the toughest tests of the year, particularly for those more at home on gravel than the black stuff.
The Scandinavians only drive on gravel since they are young, and for us it's just the opposite. We only drive on tarmac.
And there's the small issue of the weather, which can play a big part in proceedings.
It's really tricky. I mean, rainstorms can be very localized, and it can rain on the other side of the mountain, and then it's dry on the other side, and it's very difficult to predict.
If there is one man who knows what it takes to tame the Teutonic tarmac, it's Sebastian Loeb. The world champion has won in Germany 8 of the past 9 years.
The big difference is that you can go much quicker because in the corner and brake much later because you have much more grip. So yeah, it's a rally where you don't slide. It's not so much, I would say. The precision of the car is really high. So you need to find exactly the turning points.
So what exactly is the secret of mastering the asphalt? Well, unsurprisingly, the world champion is not giving too much away.
I've always been fast on tarmac. Also, when the conditions were difficult, usually I'm quite good. So, but I have no secret. It's just a question of feeling. But this year the rally is a bit different. All the stages changed. It's changed. It's in opposite direction or new stages and with high grass, narrow parts, stones on the side. So, okay, it feels complicated this year.
A glimmer of hope perhaps then for his rivals, and they need it. Sebastian Loeb now holding a 43-point lead after 8 of the 13 rounds. It's looking increasing like a matter of when and not if the imperious Frenchman will rack up an incredible 9th successive world title. In the manufacturers' race too, the partnership between Loeb and Mikko Hirvonen has proved a potent one. Citroën have racked up 4 1-2 finishes in a row and have a massive 109-point advantage over Ford. Things are looking bleak for the Blue Oval then, but despite their last tarmac victory coming back in 2004, there have been real signs of improvement on the Fiesta's speed on asphalt recently.
We have been more concentrating to make the car like a racing car. Like last year we were maybe in Germany we were too soft, so the car is more stable now, and that will give you more confidence, and I know the car is better to drive over here what it was last year.
Elsewhere, it's good to see Australian Chris Atkinson back once again, this time replacing Armindo Araujo in the Team Portugal Mini.
It's a fantastic opportunity, obviously, with a great team, Motorsport Italia and Mini, so there's not a lot of drivers that have the experience that I've got and the results I've got, so they've obviously taken that into consideration, and here we are, which is fantastic. Great to be in the Mini and great to be racing here in Germany.
Rally Deutschland provides a stunning base in Germany's oldest city, Trier. Nestled amongst the vineyards in the Mosel Valley, the town is bursting at the seams with breathtaking Roman architecture. Trier is in the far west of Germany, close to the border with Luxembourg, and we have 369 kilometres of terrifying tarmac ahead. The ceremonial start, as ever, took place in the shadow of Trier's famous Porta Nigra, with thousands of fans from every corner of Europe flooding into the city centre to watch Sébastien Loeb start the event he has dominated since its inception in 2002. No qualifying here, with this being a tarmac event. There is no road sweeping to account for, so it is championship leader Sébastien Loeb who leads the 15 WRC crews away. But before we get underway with the class of 2012, let's roll back the years. A blast of pure nostalgia in the shape of a collection of wonderful vintage rally cars, attracting huge interest in the service park here in Trier. These cars of all shapes and sizes will be taking to the stages over the weekend, brought together thanks to one particularly passionate rally fan.
It's a fantastic sport, rally. Yeah? It's the ultimate thing for fast driving and crazy driving ability, which is an art by itself. But the whole thing also has a fantastic history going over decades. And the history is not much happening with it as a show element. So we thought, why don't we combine a modern rally with all its fantastic driving and the show of the old cars? And I think everyone is benefiting from it.
Even better, one or two famous faces are here, delighted to be reunited with their magnificent machines.
It's actually my proper car from Argentina, 85, so it brings some special memory.
This car, when it came out, everyone was like amazed by it, the wings on it, the wheel arches. What was it like to drive this car?
Okay, we had a bit of a hard time with the Sport Quattro, but then when we get the wings and things on this one, it was working a lot better, so it was a great fun to drive it, and with the horsepower we had then was fantastic.
Sticks Audi, the full authentic real thing. Also turning heads, a replica Mercedes-Benz 450 SLC, as driven by another familiar face at the 1979 Safari Rally.
It was a different experience, I must say. I mean, the car was fantastic for these long-distance rallies like Safari, like Ivory Coast Rally, even New Zealand. We did good result. But to be honest, the car was a little bit too big to be a 100% good rally car. But it's a fascinating car. I mean, it's impressive on the small stages.
So, not only the latest generation of rally cars to entertain the crowds in Germany, but the WRC's rich heritage rightly celebrated by these incredible machines. Getting back to the present day, and we are off into the vineyards for stage one. There's been a bit of overnight rain, so maybe a few damp patches out there. And this is the man who everyone will be chasing, Sébastien Loeb, 8-time world champion and 8-time Rally Deutschland winner. Here we go. The first full tarmac round of 2012 is underway. A typically narrow technical test here through the Mosel Valley. Loeb is the master of judging his pace and braking points in these junction-filled stages. Mittelmosel is a new stage run in this direction, and the unknown quantity has proved a difficult proposition for Loeb's teammate Hirvonen. The Finn has never been a big fan of this event, and he's off the pace early on. You do get a real sense of how the stages snake their way through the vineyards here from our eye in the sky. Back on the start line, Ford's Petter Solberg. The Norwegian is the only other driver competing in a WRC spec car who has won a tarmac rally other than Loeb. That, though, was back in 2003. Solberg on the attack in stage one, though. Petter will be keeping a close eye on the times of this man. Loeb, as expected, is already setting a scorching pace.
Droite 120 sur gauche 120 moins pas corde. 80 mètres, gauche 120 plus speedo ancienne. Et droite 130 plus court pas corde. Ouvre long. Ouvre long.
Stage one is cleared, and a chance now to check in with the world champion.
I didn't want to take risks there. Then when it was dry, I pushed a bit harder, but it's difficult. The stages are really narrow with some concrete everywhere, and I've done a clean stage, not a perfect stage, but clean stage.
Solberg, like Loeb, has opted for hard compound tyres, and this has been a pretty impressive start from the Norwegian. And a breathtaking view of the Mosel River below the stage there. Loeb's time was just under 14 minutes and 43 seconds. Petter can't match that here, but he's not going to be that far off. 14.48.1, just over 5 seconds down on the world champion. Not a bad getaway from Solberg. Petter's compatriot Mads Osberg showed impressive pace in the pre-event shakedown stage. He's only taken on Germany's terrifying roads twice before. Oh, and a misjunction there from the adapted team driver. That is a typical Germany mistake. It's incredibly difficult to judge the corners through the tunnel of vines. And that's clearly going to cost the four privateer a few seconds. Jari-Matti Latvala had really begun to find his feet on asphalt in the latter stages of 2011 and was leading in Monte Carlo before he crashed out, of course. We'll be really interested to keep an eye on his times this weekend. The Ford man has opted for a cross pattern of hard and soft compound Michelins here in stage one. It probably helped in the slightly damp first few kilometres, but has it worked throughout the entire test? He's just over 9 seconds down on Loeb's time.
I tried something special on this stage. I took 2 soft tyres and had 2 hard tyres on the car. It was very good in the beginning of the stage in the slippy, but I think the stage was too long and too dry for at the end, so then I started to lose. But okay, we have 2 hard spares, so we can get the 4 hards on the car now.
Yevgeny Novikov had a bruising finale to his Finland outing, and with his regular co-driver Denis Giraudet still nursing an injured back, Nicolas Klinger has stepped in as a replacement. Oh, but that was a heavy impact. He's trying to continue, but something is seriously wrong with that Fiesta. Yes, it looks like they're out. And I think stage one will be their first and last of this opening day. Out front, though, as expected, it's that man Loeb who leads the way. He's 5.2 seconds ahead of Solberg, with Hirvonen third and Latvala just over 9 seconds behind the leader. Chris Atkinson was 9th quickest in his first rally in the Mini. So we're up and running here in Germany. Next, back in action and reflecting on their lucky escape in New Zealand, WRC's only all-girl team.
Miriam jumped out and I jumped out also in the speed because it was flames everywhere.
And would you believe the same things happened to one of the front runners here in Germany? The full story coming right up. ADAC Rally Deutschland continues with the welcome return to action for the WRC's only all-female team. Swedes Ramona Karlsson and co-driver Miriam Wilfridsson had a lucky escape a couple of rallies ago in New Zealand.
We started to feel a big heat in the car while we were driving, so it wasn't that crash and fire. It was quiet, you can say, more undramatic like that, but then it got very dramatic because we felt the heat in the car, and Miriam turned around and she noticed that the whole rear part of the car was on fire. So I braked down the speed, Miriam jumped out and I jumped out also in the speed because it was flames everywhere. And the car went further on and crashed into a bank and just exploded. So we were very lucky.
Very lucky indeed, but determined to get straight back into action despite that brush with danger.
You know, in a rally everything can happen, so it hasn't mentally done anything for us. We're really looking forward to sitting in the rally car again.
Having made it to Germany, there was another scare for Ramona and Miriam in shakedown. At one stage, it looked like lightning was about to strike twice as smoke emerged from their Mitsubishi.
Yeah, it wasn't that dramatic as it may have been seen. We were reversing after a junction and there was some grass under the car. Just before I was going further, Marshall came to me and said the car is on fire. No, not again. But it turned out that it was grass under the car that has been smoke. So it was no problem, we can just go on again. Nothing happened to the car and everything is fine.
Which was just as well, given all the support the girls had to prepare a new car in time for this weekend from friends, family, sponsors and some dedicated followers.
Some fans started a collection of money of helping us come back again, and that is really, really touching, and that helped us keep on motivated and even more motivated to keep on going.
It's soon time for the girls and the rest of the field in Germany to get back into action. Once again, the drivers have plunged into the Mosel Valley vineyards. There have been plenty of changes to the route in Germany, but the new look Rally Deutschland clearly hasn't fazed Sebastian Loeb. The Citroën Total star continues to scream through the vines in the DS3. Once again, the Frenchman has set a stunning benchmark for the pack to chase. And incredible images again from our eye in the sky. This is Rally Deutschland at its very best. Mikko Hirvonen managed the podium finish in Germany 5 years ago, but it's not happening for him in 2012. You can see how tentative he is on the brakes. On his first outing in the DS3 on a full tarmac round the Finn, he's struggling to get into any sort of rhythm on this opening day. Petter Solberg, though, is making a real fist of keeping Loeb honest on this opening morning. The Norwegian's actually a few tenths of a second quicker than the Citroën man early in Mosseland. He can't quite hold it for the entire stage, but this has been another strong performance from Petter. Jari-Matti Latvala lost a bit of time with that crossover tyre pattern on stage one, and he's still not quite happy with his setup. Even so, the Finn's continuing improvements on tarmac is evident. He's got a chance to make it past Hirvonen here. He needs a time around 14 minutes and 26 seconds. Yep, that's got it. Latvala jumps up to third place on the leaderboard.
But the car is too soft. It's that I did a mistake with the setup. I think I make too soft car. I was too afraid with the conditions, so I just can't get the confidence with the car. It's just too difficult to drive in the fast places.
Well, he's moving up, but Jari clearly not happy with the car. Thierry Neuville also has pedal to the metal. Much smoother through that corner than Hirvonen. He might be as close as it gets to a home rally for the young Belgian, but he's only actually contested Rally Deutschland once, and that in an outing in a Super 1600 Citroën C2 didn't last long. Despite his lack of experience, he's passed Hirvonen too. Thierry up to fourth.
We did a good stage at the end, I think. I think even we catch some time back to Petter, so not bad.
And great to see our Swedish ladies back in action in their PWRC Mitsubishi Evo 10. Although their Germany outing wouldn't last long, a collision with a wall prematurely ending their rally. Martin Prokop is running in the final point scoring position in 10th, but he's got a left rear puncture. What's showing incredible reactions to save the car there. With flailing rubber from that puncture catching the bodywork of his Fiesta Elite, though, the Czech driver's rally has ended in very similar fashion to Ramona and Miriam in New Zealand. Thankfully, again, both Martin and his co-driver Zenek Cruiser were out of the car long before this happened, but it's a fiery demise for their Fiesta as well. Well, this is how things stand after stage 3. Loeb's lead up to 13.1 seconds, with Solberg and Latvala still his closest rivals. Thierry Neuville lies just under 7 seconds behind the two works Fords, with Hirvonen down in 5th at the moment. The afternoon sees a repeat pass through the stages used in the morning loop, so we've returned to Mittelmosel to get us back underway. Oh, and a stall on the start line for Mikko Hirvonen. Well, that just about sums up the Finn's day. Citroën's number 2 is by now used to playing second fiddle to his world champion teammate, but he has continued to slip further and further adrift of the leaders. The man who replaced Hirvonen at the Ford team, Petter Solberg, is again proving he's got plenty of pace on asphalt. Currently in second place, the Ford man is really keeping the pressure on Loeb this afternoon.
Slight left over crest, keep in and slow 6 right plus half long opens 32 right.
It's a terrific drive through stage 4 for Petter. He's just 7/10 of a second slower than the rally leader.
Well, we're on the pace and it's really good fun, and car is working well and no problems now. So yeah, just have to stay calm.
Well, Petter happy with that run, and rightly so. Back in the stage, meanwhile, Solberg's teammate at the Works Ford team, Jari-Matti Latvala, is on the absolute ragged edge. With some setup tweaks made and the Fiesta RS finally on song, the Flying Finn is giving it everything in here. 2.6 seconds up on Loeb in the early splits. Jari is absolutely flat out here. Still incredibly calm inside the car, but it is a stunning effort, and Latvala finally breaks the Frenchman's monopoly of stage wins. Another flash of brilliance from the young Finn, who was always destined to be a top driver. Rallying runs in the blood in Finland, and in Jari Mäti's case it also runs in the family. His father, Jari Senior, was no mean driver himself, winning the Finnish Junior Rally Championship. The young Jari Mäti quickly caught the bug and soon knew he wanted to follow in Dad's tyre tracks.
He started rally in 1981 and I was born in 1985. And when I was born, the first things what I remember, they were related to the rallying. So it was a big thing in our family that time already. So that's where everything started, and I wanted to become a professional rally driver.
By the time he was a teenager, Jari Mäti was catching the eye. He was clearly quick, as the rally world was about to discover when father and son found themselves competing against each other for the first time.
First time it was when I was 15 years old. My father let me try the Ford Escort World Rally car. He was running in the Finnish Championship that time. And I guess I was that time a little bit quicker. And that was on the test road. But in the Finnish Championship Rally, it was 2004 when we both had a WRC Corollas. And we were starting, it was in Joensuu in east side of Finland. We were starting number 5 and number 6, and I think we finished in the rally. I was 4th and he was 5th. So that time I beat my father first time.
Needless to say, Jari Senior is incredibly proud of his talented son.
When he beat me at the age of 15, I knew he could become a works driver, because at that time I competed with Markus Grönholm in Finland and the level of driving was very good. So after that, I've been nothing but proud of him.
Jari Mäti's fearless, fast and flamboyant style belies a distinct disadvantage he's had to deal with since he was young, having to wear those trademark colourful glasses.
So I didn't use glasses until like I was 18, and I checked my eyesight and it was alright, but what they saw was that with the glasses just slightly improves my eyesight to see further, and that it make a little correction that helps a bit. I met some opticians and I started got some ideas with the colors, that you can actually work with the glasses, get different colors which will help in the sunshine or will help with the snow to see the road better. So that's we started to introduce the colors, and nowadays I'm so familiar with the glasses that I don't want to drive without glasses.
Well, the glasses have certainly been working well so far in Germany for Jari, and the hard work ethic instilled by his father has really pushed him on to improve his tarmac pace, which of course is rarely a skill seen among the Finns. 2 more stages to run on this opening afternoon, and Latvala's stage-winning pace is a sign that Loeb can't relax just yet. This, though, is an 8-time Rally Deutschland winner we're talking about, and in typical Sebastian Loeb style, the Frenchman responds as only he can with a devastating turn of speed in stage 5.
250 mètres.
Once again, the Citroën star is unmatchable. He's 5 seconds up on his nearest rival. And on this occasion, that is once again the hard-sliding Petter Solberg. The Norwegian and his Northern Irish co-driver Chris Patterson have put in one of their finest sealed service performances on this opening leg and will finish it in a deserved second place.
6 right minus 100, line 6 left minus opens 10.
Latvala, meanwhile, seemed to scare himself with that breathtaking drive through stage 4 and was almost 13 seconds off the pace in the next one.
G2. 60 varo oikein, 2 tiristys oikein 5, älä paali sumppu. Jatkuu vasen 2 aukeaa yli nypyn, 20, vasen 1, 40. Oikein 2 aukeaa yli pitkän nypyn.
The Ford star has responded well though in this final test of day 1 as he fights to ensure he keeps a fired up Thierry Neuville at arm's length.
Yeah, it was a big lesson for me what happened on the middle one. It's just unbelievable when you thought that you drive carefully, but you know, you back off a bit, but suddenly the time is not there. You just need to keep pushing if you want to fight with him. That's the way it is, and it was a big lesson for me. I'm shocked how much I lost, but I have learned a lot from that.
Well, Latvala again proving you're never too old to keep learning, and there can be few better teachers on these roads than the man who has dominated in Germany for the last decade.
100 mètres.
Loeb attacks through the final kilometres of day one, once again inch perfect through these blisteringly quick vineyard roads.
Sur gauche à fond ouvre, 150 mètres.
Well, we said he would take some beating, and yet again the French maestro has delivered, although it is Latvala who takes another stage win to finish the day.
For sure, I'm happy. We are leading, so that's really good. We started to increase a little bit our lead. This stage, it's more difficult to increase the lead because the stage is a bit easier and faster than the other, so impossible to make a difference. But still, I'm for sure really happy with the day.
Let's check on the leaderboard then. Loeb leads by 20.4 seconds from Peter Solberg, with Latvala another 9 seconds back. Danny Sordo's been on the move, the Spaniard up to 5th at the expense of Mikko Hirvonen. So that's how it looks after the opening day, but prepare for a dramatic day two with those sinister car-wrecking Hinkelsteins lying in wait. Welcome back to the ADAC Rally Deutschland. The second day is about to get underway, and we're back into the vineyards first for Stein and Vine, and there is a real threat of rain in the air. We are back underway. Rally leader Sebastian Loeb firing through the gears as he seeks to maintain that crucial 20-second advantage. Storming away from our helicopter here in stage 7. Loeb neat and tidy through the hairpin, quickly back on the power, and he's got his wipers on. It is indeed raining, and this could all play into the Frenchman's hands. If he can race on towards the finish line and beat the worst of the rain here, he could make up even more time.
200 mètres. Droite 170.
Here comes the flying finish. 15 minutes, 25.2 seconds, and the timing of that rain could not have been better. Peter Solberg should be rightly satisfied with his fine performance on day one. But this rain could be bad news. Yeah, look at this. It's definitely heavier. Incredibly frustrating for the Ford man. He's been forced to back right off. Loeb's time was 15:25.2, remember. This is going to be a devastating blow. More than 21 seconds lost. Petter, clearly not a happy man inside that Fiesta.
I couldn't drive in the past. I had no steering whatsoever. I had one moment when it started to rain, you know, because I thought it should be better grip, and then I had like stopped completely, and I thought, okay, that's it. So I backed off. I don't want to risk anything. I'm sure the guys behind me takes me, you know, but well, I don't have actually a setup exactly for this.
It's obviously getting increasingly treacherous out there. Mikko Hirvonen started the morning down in 6th after a miserable run through the day 1 stages. The Finn will certainly not be enjoying this. A big slide out of the hairpin. The rain is getting even heavier. A spin for Mikko there. He stalled the car as well for good measure. Well, the Finn no doubt will be glad to see the back of this latest visit to the German tarmac. Latvala, meanwhile, is desperate to maintain his podium position. Like his teammate, he lost 25 seconds to Loeb in that opening stage. Oh, and he's gone straight on. He's not the first driver we've seen outbrake himself, and he's been struggling to get out of the undergrowth here. Yeah, he does eventually get back on his way, but not before he's dropped a lot of time. Thierry Neuville has already found his first outing with WRC Power in Germany Tough. He's giving it a real go here, in really treacherous conditions. Oh, but that's a low-speed spin for him too. Even a driver as talented as Neuville Racing on hard compound Michelins in damp, slippery conditions is proving a real handful. Unsurprisingly, he doesn't seem too impressed. Back with Petter Solberg. Roads now completely soaked, and most drivers starting on those hard compound Michelins. Remember, grip levels will be minimal to say the least, despite the conditions. Solberg doing all he can to keep the pressure on the rally leader. The damage was done in that opening stage, though. Loeb's lead is now up to 41.6 seconds, with Sordo now third and Neuville fourth following Latvaler's off-road excursion. Okay, time for a cultural interlude, a spot of sightseeing with Petter Solberg, who took time out to take a look around Trieste Roman Amphitheatre.
So, we are in Trieste, and we are looking at amphitheater, and where the gladiators have been. There's been a lot of passion, a lot of energy here. I'm sure a lot of the people here have the same image as me, never give up.
Petter Solberg's fighting spirit has certainly served him well during more than a dozen years in World Rally. Countless others have come and gone in that time, but the Norwegian just loves a good fight.
So obviously it's been a lot of action here. We have a lot of different caves here where there have been a lot of hungry people to get out and fight. So let's take a look at the cave. For sure it's been a lot of excitement here, and it's a fantastic place for families to take a look for afternoon in here.
Solberg has created plenty of his own fascinating history during more than a decade in the WRC, but it's been a roller coaster ride for the 2003 World Champion, full of highs and lows.
Obviously, it's many different chapters through my whole life in motorsport. Well, I must say when I was in Ford the first time, you know, it was a very special moment, you know, to get into the World Championship. It was a big thing for me, compared with coming from the Norwegian Championships or the Swedish Championship. I must say it's been really good. But obviously, you know, if I haven't been fast enough or good enough, I wouldn't have continued to drive. And the only reason why I love it is because they're still fast.
One world title, 3 times a runner-up, but Solberg's third place in the 2010 championship was all the more extraordinary, given he was running his own privateer team after the sudden exit from the sport of Subaru, leaving him without a drive.
It was maybe one of the hardest times of my career, maybe. I was thinking about after that. I've been sitting back home after Subaru pulled out, crying for 2 days, you know, and crying in the arms of the president of Subaru. It was hard.
And now he's back with a full works drive at Ford. Petter's motivation is as strong as ever. The speed is still there, so is the belief and passion for the sport.
You love something and you're fast in it and you're fighting the top all the time, that is very special for me. I love driving. I tried many, you know, I tried the Formula 1, rally cross, I've done everything. And rallying, you have to try first, and because the feeling is so special.
And there are few challenges as special in the WRC as Arena Panzerplatte. This epic blast through the Hinkelstein-lined Bohmholder military ranges is one of the toughest challenges around. Add to that the damp roads, and even the greatest driver of them all will be feeling some trepidation out there. Loeb may hold a 42-second lead, but he'll be well aware one misheard note or mistimed braking point and it could be over in a second. The fans are out in force as ever at Panzerplatte's iconic Gina's jump, and a terrific reception for the 8-time Germany winner. There's sure to be a big cheer for this man too, Petter Solberg, the longest-serving member of the WRC elite. With more than 46 kilometres to get through on this epic stage, he could make some big inroads into Loeb's advantage.
4 right times, half 2 minus. Early short 2 left minus.
Oh, but not like that, he can't. Nice and clean over Gina's jump though, and Petter's never give up attitude again on display here. He's been clawing the time back with every passing kilometre. Oh, but that's another mistake. And this time, I'm not sure he'll get away with it. Yeah, I think this could be it for Solberg. He's completely ripped off the right rear wheel. That's what happens when you hit a Hinkelstein. Desperate disappointment after what had been a terrific performance from the former world champion. With Petter out, it does, of course, provide a boost up the standings for everyone further back, including this man, Thierry Neuville. The Belgian also began the stage just 8/10 of a second behind Danny Sordo, so he has a real chance to claim second place here. Oh, a big off for Neuville too. Well, this weekend was always going to be a steep learning curve for Citroen's young star, but that was a bruising lesson learned. And that DS3 is going nowhere. They are out for the day too.
My pace notes was like wide 10 flat out, and there was a little bump. I didn't have it in my pace note, and I was surprised. So we jumped out of the corner, and I just tried to evitate the tree.
And for Ford's Petter Solberg, it's just another chapter in his roller coaster of a career. He had the passion to fight with Loeb in Germany, but this time it just wasn't to be.
Just very, very sad, you know, because it was very good for Ford with laying second and third, and yeah, it's not very enjoyable when that happens.
There was a puncher too for Danny Sordo in there, so a completely different look to the leaderboard. Onto the afternoon loop, and in this repeated pass, many of the roads are now covered in mud and dust. Down on the start line of stage 10 is the rally leader. Now with a huge advantage out front following Solberg's exit, Loeb can focus on playing it safe, which is a real blessing with so many corners covered in this layer of dust. With most of the roads now dry though, the Frenchman has again opted for hard compound tyres. Loeb's closest challenger is now Jari-Matti Latvala. He's interestingly chosen to use the soft Michelins. The team concerned of another rain shower perhaps, with his teammate Solberg removing a wheel in that dramatic first pass through Panzerplatte. The pressure is really on the Finn to ensure at least one of the works Fords maintains their podium place. He has almost half a minute in hand on Mikko Hirvonen, and keeping his compatriot at arm's length is Jari's main concern for now. It's been a torrid weekend for Citroen's Flying Finn, but Germany's typically high attrition rate has allowed Mikko to sneak back into the podium positions. Can he go one better though and make some inroads into his former teammates' advantage? Well, not on this occasion. That time is actually half a second slower than Latvala. Well, there will be some nervous crews out there as we head back to the Hinkelsteins of Panzerplatte. We were reminded earlier why this stage demands such respect. Loeb has won this event on 8 of the 9 occasions it's been run, so the championship leader is well aware of Rally Deutschland's unique demands. The Frenchman's had no control about the mayhem ensuing behind, but it certainly all worked out to his benefit. Clearing this second pass through the infamous Panzerplatte is done in some style by the Citroen star. Germany win number 9 is now very much in Seb's sights.
Again, a very good day today, so no problem. It was we had really to go through this long stage because anything can happen in this one. We saw that in the first pass. So now we are here, we finished the second day, a good lead, so it's looking good for tomorrow.
Latvala relished his battle with the world champion through the first pass of Panzerplatte, and once again, there's very little to choose between the two. With little concern for the tank-busting Hinkelsteins lying at the roadside, Jari-Matti can't resist one more push to challenge the leader's time. It's not quite enough though. The Ford man finishes just 7/10 of a second slower.
This stage was so important. I wanted to win this stage, and he came back. He came very hard in the midway of the stage, and I catch him. But at the end, I did a couple of mistakes. Tires were getting too hot, so I made little mistakes. I'm a little bit angry to myself.
Latvala at least made it safely through Germany's signature stage intact. Dutchman Peter van Merkstein is still on his way through. Oh, he's way too fast there, and we said watch out for those unforgiving Hinkelsteins, and that is a good example why. With the Citroen Privateer's car blocking the road, the organisers have little choice but to cancel the stage for the remaining crews. And Van Merkstein wasn't the only one caught out. There were late retirements too for Danny Sordo and Oyt Tanak. So Mads Osberg ends the day in 4th, with Chris Atkinson up to 5th. Out front though, Loeb's lead is up to almost 2 minutes. So Panzerplatte living up to its reputation, but a certain Frenchman stayed well clear of trouble. Loeb has one more day to survive, and a 9th German victory in 10 years could be his. It is the 3rd and final day of Rally Deutschland, but before we check out the big guns, let's bring you right up to date with the potential stars of tomorrow in the WRC Academy. And British youngster Elfyn Evans continued his great form with a 3rd straight victory. The 24-year-old alongside co-driver Phil Pugh won by more than a minute in this, his first visit to Rally Germany. And that's extended his lead in the championship to a comfortable 35 points after 4 of the 6 rounds. Just France and Spain to come. Jose Suarez from Spain finished 2nd. And Australian Brendan Reeves went off on the final stage, allowing another British driver, John McCrone, to take his maiden podium finish. While the young guns aspire to future glory, the current WRC stars are attracting plenty of interest here in Germany. Thousands of fans flocking to the service park in Trier to get up close and personal to the cars and their rally driving heroes. Ford Spinner Solberg and Jari-Matti Latvala are certainly in demand for autographs and signed t-shirts. And the WRC merchandise store also attracting plenty of interest as usual. A wide range of clothing on offer just as well, given the changeable weather conditions here in Germany. But don't worry, if you can't get along to a round of the World Rally Championship, all you've got to do if you'd like any official merchandise is log on to wrc.com/shop and you can feel an even bigger part of the truly international World Rally Championship fan club.
We have thousands of people going there every week and buying merchandise, and we ship all over the world in literally every country you can possibly think of, and others you probably wouldn't have thought of. So yeah, every week we ship worldwide.
So to the final day of what's been a dramatic Rally Deutschland. 2 passes through the 31 kilometres of Drontal first, and the rain has returned. So even with his huge lead, Sebastian Loeb knows the job is not done just yet. With almost 2 minutes in hand, though, it would take something fairly dramatic to prevent Loeb claiming a 5th win in a row. Tricky, damp conditions out there again, so caution required at times. But as we've seen over the last decade, the Frenchman doesn't make many mistakes, and he certainly doesn't in Germany.
I don't care about the times. Was just on my rhythm. It was really tricky. Huh? Some places you have to be very, very careful. It's even with the soft tire, you have a lot of grip changing, and so it was a really difficult stage.
Jari-Matti Latvala is next into action, and a really big slide there for the Finn. It has been a strong event so far for the 4-man. A couple of incidents and setup issues aside, when all has been working well, Jari's pace has been right up there with the rally leaders. A bit of a crunch under the car there. Got some really quick parts in this dual carriageway section, and look at his bonnet on the left. That contact, breaking a pin maybe, a lucky escape in the damp. I don't think he's got away with that.
I don't know what happened with the bonnet. It's attached on the front, but it's loose from the close to the windscreen. And in the long fast straight, it started to open. And I said to Mika, what we do, and I had to back off because if it comes to the screen, we will lose this position now.
Latvala getting a reminder he's not quite home yet. Oh, and that's not the first time we've seen Mikko Hirvonen stall on the start line. He's lying within half a minute of his compatriot Latvala, but a start like that won't help him catch up. Hirvonen hasn't had the pace to trouble the top positions this weekend, but crucially he's kept the DS3 on the road where others have failed. Mikko can't take advantage of that small mistake by Latvala, but the wet stage 13 is safely cleared. Danny Sordo has shown great speed at times in Germany. We expect that from the asphalt ace. But that mistake on day 2 has ruined any hopes of a strong finish for the Spaniard. The leading Mini driver at the moment is Chris Atkinson, whose attitude has really impressed on this debut in the John Cooper Works. The final Vineyard stage is survived with his 5th place intact. Atco will no doubt have a smile on his face inside that Mini.
For me, no stress. We just really sensible, make sure we get to the end. Really happy with how the car's running. Obviously, the team will be ecstatic with 5th, as will I.
Back in the stage, the Master reigns supreme. We'll never know what would have happened had Loeb not been given a boost by the Saturday morning rain shower, but that clearly was the turning point in this rally. Germany, though, is the Frenchman's natural arena. In this form, few could get anywhere near him. Stage 14 is cleared for the rally leader. There is a slight concern with a small turbo problem, appearing with the end in sight. It's good for Loeb then that his lead is still hovering at just under 2 minutes with just the power stage remaining, while Latvala and Hirvonen look safe in their podium positions. And so to the grand finale. Of course, bonus points on offer for the fastest 3 through the Circus Maximus power stage, run through the oldest city in Germany, Trier, around the Porta Nigra, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Has been a disappointing weekend for Mikko Hirvonen. The Finn just lacking in experience on tarmac with the DS3 and in tricky conditions as well. He is running in 3rd though. And he is giving it a go in the power stage. There are sharp curbs everywhere in this tight circuit, but Mikko is giving it a go. Let's keep an eye on the clock. 3:27 dead, and that is the benchmark. Well, if anyone can beat him, it's this man, Ford's Jari-Matti Latvala. After a difficult start to the weekend with setup problems, the Finn has driven a phenomenal pace to pick up the blue oval mantle after Petter Solberg's demise on day 2. But this doesn't actually look that quick from Jari-Matti. He's not going to beat Mikko. Clearly caution is key here, but that is his best finish on tarmac in 2nd.
Yeah, it's been not an easy race for sure. It's been a lot of happening for us, but at least I'm happy with the result because it's my best result on tarmac rally. I was last year 3rd in Catalonia, so this is even better, but for sure the distance to Loeb is quite big, but anyway, overall we are happy we are in the finish. That's the main thing.
Here comes the man that's dominated this rally from its first inclusion into the World Rally Championship 10 years ago. A puncture cost him the victory last year, but in just a few hundred metres time he should make it win number 9 in Germany. No sign of that turbo problem causing him any issues. He's going for it in the power stage. He could steal this from Mikko. Just the last couple of corners remain after that tight chicane. And he should do this. It's a drying circuit. And that's made the difference. 2.2 seconds quicker than his teammate. Loeb does the double in Deutschland. What a weekend for the world champion and co-driver Daniel Elena. That is 9 wins out of 10 in Germany.
We had a good drive, we had a perfect car, and so it was. I was confident in the car, no mistakes. That was also important because skipping the car on the road with this mud and all these narrow roads, it was not easy. So we've done it, and I think we scored also the power stage. Yeah, so that's a perfect weekend now.
So win number 9 in Germany for Sebastian Loeb, his final winning margin over 2 minutes back to Latvala in 2nd, with Hirvonen closing out the top 3. Another good result for Mads Osberg, with Chris Atkinson claiming 5th on this event for the Mini Portugal team. Sebastian Loeb and Daniel Elena take the top step of the podium in Germany once again in the shadow of the Porta Nigra, tasting the winner's champagne for an incredible 9th time. The Citroën pair once again proved unbeatable. The Loeb and Citroën combination once again proving an irresistible force on this treacherous tarmac round. And that, of course, will have helped him in the championship standings. This is how things stack up after round 9. Loeb, with an unprecedented 74th win, is now an incredible 199 points, 54 ahead of his teammate Nico Hirvonen. Further back, Petter Solberg remains in third, but Mats Osberg has closed right up. This is how things look in the manufacturers' race. Citroën look unstoppable. They've passed their magic 300 points. 4 Team lie second on 197, with M Sport 82 points further back. So Loeb inching ever closer to championship number 9. He's reigned supreme once again here in the Mosel Valley. We'll be back in a few weeks for Wales Rally GB, but for now, we'll leave you with a few memories of another dramatic Rally Deutschland.